Good morning, guys. So today we are going to check out some interesting things related to the convolution. Already I have discussed, I have started introducing the convolution. The concept of convolution. It's a art of finding, or else this convolution allows us to find the value of the output provided the input as well as the impulse response has been given for a LTI system. So these things I have already formally introduced. Say for example, as I mentioned earlier, we have two types of cases. One is the analog case and another one is the discrete case or else a digital case, right? If it is a discrete case, then the input I can write it as in the form of the input samples or else input sequences. Output I can write in the form of output as well as or else output sequence. I can call it as output sequence also, right? So if this is the case, then the output can be found out by using the convolution between the input as well as the impulse response. So this is this particular thing is for the discrete case actually. This is nothing but, so previously in terms of integration and content, because we were discussing about analog case, now we are talking about the discrete case. So I am representing that as this convolution sum. So the range varies from minus infinity to infinity, x of k into h of n minus k. So this is a repeated summation actually. Previously it was a repeated addition, but we called it as integration. If you are talking about a digital case, we will be using the term called a summation. We call it as convolution sum. നമ്മൾ എന്തായാലും ശരി ഈ convolution എന്ന് പറയുന്നത് it allows you to calculate the output provided the input sequence as well as the impulse sequence have been given for an LTE system അല്ലേ. അപ്പോൾ നമ്മൾ ഈ കാര്യം നമ്മൾ ആൾറെഡി ഡിസ്കസ് ചെയ്തായിരുന്നു ക്ലാസ്സിൽ. Now the properties of the convolution sum we need to know before solving the problem, because these properties can help me in solving the problems very quickly, right, in some cases, right? So first of all I will just give you a brief introduction about some of the interesting properties that we may be using while doing the problems, right? So first important property is a commutative property. A commutative property, keep it in mind, I am discussing about the discrete cases, right? So commutative property tells that look, according to the commutative property, even if you take a convolution sum between x of n as well as h of n, or else it can be replaced by this also. First I can take a convolution between h of n as well as x of n. It allows you to do the both cases. We will be getting the same result. What is the meaning of it? This means if this is the case, x of n, h of n minus k is permissible. Sorry, I have to replace it by dummy variable അല്ലേ. ഓർമ്മയുണ്ടോ? ഞാൻ ഡമ്മി വേരിയബിളിനെ കുറിച്ചൊക്കെ നമ്മൾ ഡിസ്കസ് ചെയ്തായിരുന്നു കഴിഞ്ഞ ക്ലാസ്സിൽ. സോ എക്സ് ഓഫ് കെ, എച്ച് ഓഫ് എൻ മൈനസ് കെ, ദിസ് ക്യാൻ ബി റീപ്ലേസ്ഡ് ബൈ ദിസ് ഓൾസോ. ദിസ് ഇസ് വാട്ട് ഐ വാസ് ട്രൈങ് ടു സേ. k equal to minus infinity to infinity, h of k, x of n minus k. So what it means, so either you do the translation or else the shifting with respect to the impulse response, and then do the repeated convolution sums like this. I mean, take a product and then add it up, or else keep this particular property, this commutative property allows us to keep the h of k same or also fixed, move the input. Translation. The move means the translation. So translate the input for minus infinity, k equal to minus infinity to infinity, and take the repeated summation. We call it as convolution sum. Both will give us a good result. Both will give us same result, right? So this is the commutative property. And the second important property is associative property. ഇതൊക്കെ നിങ്ങൾ ആൾറെഡി ഈസി ആയിട്ട് വായിക്കാൻ പറ്റും. നമ്മൾ ആൾറെഡി ഡിസ്കസ് ചെയ്തതാണ്. പക്ഷേ വേറെ ലൈക്ക് LTI സിസ്റ്റത്തിന് വേണ്ടിയിട്ടാണ് നമ്മൾ ഡിസ്കസ് ചെയ്തത്. പക്ഷേ ഇപ്പോൾ നമ്മൾ ഡിസ്കസ് ചെയ്യുന്നത് കൺവല്യൂഷൻ സമ്മിനെ കുറിച്ചാണ് നമ്മൾ ഡിസ്കസ് ചെയ്യുന്നത്. അപ്പോൾ ഈവൻ ദിസ് കൺവല്യൂഷൻ സം is applicable only for LTI system, that you keep it in mind. So associative property holds true for a digital convolution sum for a LTI system, right? So this is actually quite an advantage, because you see this particular property will allow me to do this. Look, first you are taking in this particular sequence, first you are taking the convolution between the input as well as the h1 of n, and then this result, the entire result after the convolution sum is performed, again you can take the convolution, again you are taking a convolution between another sequence, that is h2 of n. Now this associative property will allow me to do this one. That is, you can take the convolution between these two sequences instead of taking the convolution between the x of n as well as h1 of n. It allows you to do the convolution between h1 of n as well as h2 of n, and then take the actual result in the convolution sum with respect to x of n, right? Adana meaning in the first നമ്മൾ ഇങ്ങനെയും ചെയ്യാം, like x of n ഉം h1 of n ഇതിൻ്റെ ഒരു കൺവല്യൂഷൻ എടുത്തിട്ട് അതിൽ കിട്ടുന്ന ഔട്ട്പുട്ട് മൂന്നാമത്തെ ഒരു ഫാക്ടറിയൽ കൺവല്യൂഷൻ ഇങ്ങനെ എടുക്കാം. അല്ലെങ്കിൽ കുഴപ്പമില്ല, ഈ സെക്കൻഡ് ടേമും തേർഡ് ടേമും ഉണ്ടല്ലോ, ഇതിൻ്റെ ഒരു കൺവല്യൂഷൻ റിസൾട്ട് കിട്ടിയ ശേഷം ആ റിസൾട്ടിന് യൂസ്, ഐ മീൻ ആ based on that particular result, again we can take a convolution with the third particular term. In this particular case I call it as input. So associative property allows me to do that. എങ്ങനെ എടുത്താലും കുഴപ്പമില്ല. Third important property is a distributive property. So distributive property allows me this one, x of n h1 of n plus h2 of n x of n so it gives me a freedom like this. Actually നമ്മൾ ആദ്യം ഇതൊരു ഇമ്പൾസ് റെസ്പോൺസ് ആണ്, ഇതൊരു ഇമ്പൾസ് റെസ്പോൺസ് ആണ്. ആദ്യം ഇങ്ങനെ ആഡ് ചെയ്തിട്ട് അതിൽ കിട്ടുന്ന റിസൾട്ട് നമ്മൾ I mean we can take a convolution sum with respect to x of n. This is also possible, or else individually also we can take a convolution. This is also possible, because our distributive property holds true as far as the convolution sum is concerned, right? And so next important property is identity sequence for the convolution operator is del of n. You know what is a del of n, right? It's a Dirac delta function. I have discussed about this Dirac delta function or else impulse function. I already discussed it. So according to the fourth property, x of n, convolution between x of n as well as a Dirac delta function or also the impulse function, is an identity operator, right? Identity operator. the convolution between x of n as well as identity function del of n is same as the convolution between del of n as well as x of n. That will give me x of n. Okay, so it will give me the same result. And the fifth important property is convolution of a delayed unit impulse sequence. Convolution of a delayed unit impulse sequence with x of n. So delayed unit impulse sequence this is this is called delayed unit impulse function. So the convolution between a input sequence x of n as well as a delayed unit impulse function will give me very important result. Okay, will give me a shifted input sequence x of n minus k. Sixth one, the convolution of two delayed unit impulse sequences. Convolution of two delayed unit impulse sequences del of n minus m and del of n minus k can be written as del of n minus k convolution del of n minus m can be written as del of n minus m plus k. Okay, we should keep this in mind, and these properties can be highly helpful while we are solving some problems. Not every problem, but in certain cases we can directly apply the result of the property, right? So I was talking about the discrete case so far. If it is a analog case, same properties exist here also. Keep it in mind. Same properties exist here also. The only difference being there we were using convolution sum. So if it is an analog case, we would be discussing about convolution integral. Right? Otherwise both are same. The convolution integral, as far as the analog case is concerned, it has some interesting, again the same properties holds true here. This is what I was saying. That is the commutative property, associative property, distributive property, as well as some identities, some convolution between the input as well as some identities I have discussed in the discrete case. Please go through it. All these properties holds true for analog case also. Okay, the only difference is here we'll be talking about convolution integral, there we were talking about convolution sum. Okay, so let's try to work out a problem. Convolute the following two continuous time signals. X1 of t is equal to e power minus 2t u of t, and x2 of t is equal to u of t plus 2. This is an exponential sequence. This is a unit time sequence. The unit time sequence looks like this, right? I hope you remember that. This is a basic elementary signal, right? Let's try to solve this. So convolution, as I said, it allows me to find y of t by taking the convolution between two signals, right? It can be two signals, or else one thing can be the input signal and another one can be another one can be the impulse response also, right? What is the convolution equation? Tau is equal to minus infinity to infinity. I am replacing the t as t with the dummy variable, keep it in mind. So x1 of tau into x2 of t minus tau into d tau, right? So here x1 of tau, now this one, instead of t I am writing in terms of tau. X1 of tau is nothing but e power minus 2 tau u of tau. What is x2 of t minus tau then? This one, this particular part, x2 of t minus tau can be written as u of e part this one play adana x of x2 of t another. പക്ഷേ ഇവിടെ നമ്മൾക്ക് ഉണ്ടാവുന്ന ടേം എന്ന് വെച്ചാൽ x2 of t minus tau ആണ്. So let's try to write this x2 of t minus tau. So this can be written as u of t minus tau plus 2. In this case, instead of tau I am replacing it instead of t I am replacing it as tau actually. In this particular case, instead of t I am replacing it as t minus tau. So this allows me to shift the particular signal, and as I said, this is nothing but a unit step signal. So how to visualize this? So unit step signal is this one, and what about the second case, this one? This is an exponential series, right? So a positive exponential series, and it has been multiplied by u of tau. U of tau is nothing but the amplitude of the u of tau is nothing but 1 ആണ്. അപ്പോൾ multiply ചെയ്തതിനു ശേഷം what will be the amplitude of the exponential series? That also will be 1. So the amplitude is 1. From here it will be decaying. Exponential series it will be decaying. Say that this particular axis is x1 of tau and this is tau. Okay, so let's move on to the next slide. So the x2 of t minus tau, I am rewriting it here, t minus tau plus 2. This is equal to 1 or 0 because I have drawn it in the curve, right? So this is nothing but amplitude is nothing but 1. U of t ആണ്. Already previous level kandada. So 1 the value is 1 if t minus tau plus 2 is greater than 0. Adalle, if t minus tau plus 2 is greater than 0, e portion ആണ്, then the value of the amplitude is 1, or else that is t minus tau plus 2 is lesser than 0, then that particular case the amplitude is equal to 0. So maybe ഇവിടെ നമ്മൾ ഒരു equal വയ്ക്കാം. Okay, this one I can again rewrite as tau lesser than t plus 2. For the case that tau is lesser than t plus 2, how I can draw that? Say this is the time axis tau. Say this is this particular point I call it as a t plus 2, some arbitrary point t plus 2. So for this particular case, the tau lesser the tau lesser than t plus 2, the value is 1, right? So value is 1. This is 1. This one I call it as x1 of tau. Otherwise the value is 0. Okay, so what is convolution? Let me write it here. What is convolution? tau is equal to minus infinity to infinity. One signal I will be moving over this particular range, minus infinity to infinity. One signal I will be moving over the another signal and find the overlap. Explain find the overlap between these two signals. What is the range that I can translate the second signal? That is minus infinity to infinity. Okay, so minus infinity to infinity ഈ രണ്ടാമത്തെ സിഗ്നൽ മൂവ് ചെയ്തിട്ട്, because t minus 2 ആണ്, അപ്പോൾ മൂവ് ചെയ്തിട്ട്, മൂവ് മീൻസ് വാട്ട്, ട്രാൻസ്ലേഷൻ ആണ്. സോ മൂവ് ചെയ്തിട്ട് അതിൻ്റെ ഓവർലാപ്പ് നമ്മൾ കണ്ടുപിടിച്ച് അതിൻ്റെ റിപ്പീറ്റഡ് സം എടുക്കണം, ബിക്കോസ് ഇറ്റ് ഈസ് ഇൻറ്റഗ്രേഷൻ ആണ്, റിപ്പീറ്റഡ് സം എടുക്കണം. So let's try to work it out. So let's call case 1 as t plus 2 lesser than 0, or t is lesser than minus 2, because we have to work out the negative range. I am trying to do that, right? So in case ഞാൻ വരച്ചത് ഓർമ്മ ഉണ്ടാവുമെന്ന് തോന്നുന്നുണ്ട്. So this is the first signal and the second signal is this one, t plus 2 1 ആണ്. So ഈ കേസിൽ like a t plus 2 lesser than 0, that means ഈ പാർട്ട് ഇത് നിങ്ങൾ വിഷ്വലൈസ് ചെയ്യണമെങ്കിൽ ഇങ്ങനെ വെച്ചാൽ മതി, ഗ്രാഫ് മുകളിലും താഴെയും വരച്ചാൽ മതി. സോ t plus 2 lesser than 0 ആണ്. So somewhere on the negative axis there won't be any overlap, no overlap at all, because ഈ ഇതാണ് ഫസ്റ്റ് സിഗ്നൽ അല്ലേ, ഈ ഫസ്റ്റ് സിഗ്നലിൽ പോസിറ്റീവ് സൈഡിലാണ് ഇരിക്കുന്നത്, പോസിറ്റീവ് സൈഡിൽ. പക്ഷേ നമ്മളിപ്പോൾ നോക്കുന്നത് t plus 2 lesser than 0 ആണ്. അപ്പോൾ lesser than 0 മീൻസ് നെഗറ്റീവ് ആക്സിസ് ആണ്. അപ്പോൾ നെഗറ്റീവ് ആക്സിസിൽ ഈ രണ്ടാമത്തെ സിഗ്നലിനും ഫസ്റ്റ് സിഗ്നലിനും no overlap is there. So hence, since there is no overlap, I can say that y of t is equal to 0. What's the case? For t plus 2 lesser than 0, that is t is lesser than minus 2. So there is no overlap. I conclude that y of t is equal to 0 on that particular part. In case 2, so in case 2, previously we saw on the negative side. On case 2, it should be on the positive side, right? Because രണ്ട് സൈഡിലും overlap ആണ് നമ്മൾ actually കണ്ടുപിടിക്കുന്നത്. So this is nothing but t plus 2 greater than 0, or else I can write it as t greater than minus 2. So for this particular case, t greater than minus 2, let us try to find the overlap between x1 of tau and x2 of t minus tau. Okay, അപ്പോൾ എങ്ങനെ ഉണ്ടാവും? So let us try to draw that one more time, the signal. This is exponential series 1 0 x1 of tau ആണല്ലേ. സെക്കൻഡ് സിഗ്നൽ എങ്ങനെയാണ് വരയ്ക്കേണ്ടത്? this one, t plus 2 1 ആണ്. ഇത് x1 of x1 ആണോ x2 അല്ലേ? x2 of tau ആണ്. അപ്പോൾ ഇത് നമ്മൾ ഇതിൻ്റെ മുകളിൽ നമ്മൾ വരച്ച് നോക്കാം, എന്നാൽ അത് കുറച്ചുകൂടി ക്ലാരിറ്റി കിട്ടും. സോ ഐ ആം ഡ്രോയിങ് this one x2 of tau over the first signal. So it will be looking something like this. Let us define this particular point as t plus 2, right? അപ്പോൾ ഫസ്റ്റ് സിഗ്നൽ ഇതാണ്. ഫസ്റ്റ് സിഗ്നൽ എന്ന് പറയുന്നത് ഇതാണ്. അതിൻ്റെ മുകളിൽ Now we are talking about this one, right? So the overlap is on this area. I hope you can understand that. So y of t on this particular area, that is between 0 to t plus 2, how I can write? E power minus 2 tau, e power minus 2 tau. First signal the magnitude 1 ആണ്. അപ്പോൾ I am not writing it. Okay. I hope you remember first signal in the e power minus 2 t u of t ആണ്. ഇതിന്റെ വാല്യൂ 1 അല്ലേ? ആ ലിമിറ്റ്സ് അല്ലേ? So e power minus 2 tau into what is the value of the second signal on this particular range 0 to t plus 2. Let me mark this. On this particular range 0 to t plus 2, what is the second signal? The value of the second signal is 1 into d tau. Why? Because the second signal is nothing but shifted unit step function. The value is 1. U of t is equal to 1. So here the shifted pulse, the value is also 1. Here I have drawn that, right? So what is the so how do you integrate it? Do the integration operation. What will happen? E power minus 2 tau divided by minus 2, right? The limits will be between 0 to t plus 2. Now applying the limits, I will be getting this value, half minus half e power minus 2t plus 2. I hope it is clear. So we arrived at a conclusion that case 1 also we got some result, and case 2 also we got some result. So the output finally I can write it like in two cases actually. One is t is lesser than minus 2, case 1 ആണ്. T is greater than minus 2, that means case 2 ആണ്. So case 1 ൽ നമുക്ക് കിട്ടിയ ആൻസർ 0 ആണ്. ഇവിടെ എനിക്ക് കിട്ടിയ റിസൾട്ട് half minus half times e power minus 2 of t plus 2. I hope it is correct. Please check it out. Okay, here and there I may commit some mistakes. You have absolute right to actually point it out. So this one again I can write it as half. I am going to write it in a general form. Okay, half 1 minus e power 2 t plus 2 into u of t plus 2. Both are same, right? I hope you can visualize this one. Okay, Lane. So try to revisit the particular problem. What we saw is we have been given two signals. This particular signal we moved over this first signal, right? Appo moved over nu parayumbol that we called it as x2 of t minus tau 1, like a condition, and range minus infinity, 0 to minus infinity ആണ്. അപ്പോൾ ഇങ്ങനെ ഈ ഒരു കണ്ടീഷനിൽ നമ്മൾ നോക്കുമ്പോൾ നമുക്ക് രണ്ട് കേസാണ് നമ്മൾ നോക്കിയത്. ദാറ്റ് മീൻസ് മൊത്തത്തിൽ നമ്മൾ ലെഫ്റ്റ് സൈഡിൽ നോക്കണം, പിന്നെ റൈറ്റ് സൈഡിൽ നോക്കണം. ഓവർലാപ്പ് എങ്ങനെ ഏതൊക്കെ ഉണ്ട് നമ്മൾ നോക്കി കണ്ടുപിടിക്കണം, അത്രയേ ഉള്ളൂ കാര്യം. അപ്പോൾ ഈ ലോജിക് നമ്മൾ യൂസ് ചെയ്യുമ്പോൾ നമുക്ക് രണ്ട് കേസായിട്ട് നമുക്ക് മാറി. ദാറ്റ് ഈസ് t is lesser than minus 2 and കേസ് 2ൽ t is greater than minus 2. ഇങ്ങനെ രണ്ട് കേസായിട്ട് മാറി. ഓക്കെ അല്ലേ? അപ്പോൾ ഈ രണ്ട് കേസിലും നമ്മൾ ഓവർലാപ്പ് കണ്ടുപിടിച്ചു, അത്രയേ ഉള്ളൂ. നമ്മൾ ഓവർലാപ്പ് കണ്ടുപിടിച്ചു. പിന്നെ ഓവർലാപ്പ് ഈ കേസിൽ ഉണ്ടായിരുന്നില്ല. because a case there was no overlap at all, because first signal positive axis ലാണ് ഇരുന്നത്, ഇത് നെഗറ്റീവ് ആക്സിസ് ആണ്. അപ്പോൾ നെഗറ്റീവ് ആക്സിസ് ദാറ്റ് ഈസ് മൈനസ് ഇൻഫിനിറ്റി ടു ഈ ടൈം അല്ലേ, ഈ ടൈം ഈ കേസിൽ -2 ആണ് അല്ലേ. അപ്പോൾ ഈ ഡ്യൂറേഷനിൽ ദർ വാസ് നോ ഓവർലാപ്പ്. ആൻഡ് ദ നെക്സ്റ്റ് കേസിൽ ദാറ്റ് ഈസ് ഫ്രം t is greater than -2, t is greater than -2 to infinity, ഈ കേസാണ്. Previously it was like -infinity to -2 ആണ്, ഈ കേസ് 1 ആണ്, ഇത് കേസ് 2 ആണ്. അപ്പോൾ കേസ് 2ൽ നമ്മൾ കുറച്ച് ഔട്ട്പുട്ട് കിട്ടിയായിരുന്നു, there was some overlap actually. അപ്പോൾ പോസിറ്റീവ് സൈഡിൽ ഓവർലാപ്പ് ഉണ്ടായിരുന്നു, നെഗറ്റീവ് സൈഡിൽ there was no overlap. അതാണ് അതിൻ്റെ മീനിങ്, there was no overlap, right? So ഇതിൻ്റെ ഔട്ട്പുട്ട് നമ്മൾ കണ്ടുപിടിച്ചു. ഇത് like I will give you one more problem so that you can have a clear understanding.